This is easily the most requested business for me to look into. Today we're talking about Arizona tea, and I think the reason so many people have requested this is fairly obvious.
Welcome to Pegasus versus the World, where we take on challenges, comedy, trending topics, and some travel.
City boy! City boy!
All right, you guys. So, I'm officially a fat electrician stalker at this point. Holy smokes! He has another channel. I think it's called the Fat Files or something. Actually, let's look so you guys can support that channel if you weren't aware, which most of y'all should. Yeah, the Fat Files. Fat Files, man. This dude is a beast. But anyways, it seems like he covers like stuff about food. So like on his main channel that he blew up on, it seems so far more like historic events in the military realm and veteran realm, but historic, military situations that I'm unfamiliar of, historical politicians who were G'd up, stuff like that. But on this, I'm guessing he's taking the angle of covering food, I only saw a couple of the videos, meaning I listed, not actually watched them. But this one stood out to me. I think this was his most popular video, but it said the most gangster beverage company on earth, Arizonatea. Now, I don't know much about Arizonatea. I used to drink it somewhat, but I never really drank sugary drinks, period, right? But when I was younger, I did rock with Arizonatea. But the one thing I do know, because on tour, one of my bandmates, I think it might have been recognized from Mayday, but one of the bandmates on the tour bus was just talking about how they love Arizonatea. And then I think One Ton from Potluck was telling a story about how they're one of the only beverage companies that never raised their price. While all these other companies are like price gouging and stuff like that, they never raised their price. And the dude's like a baller for real. And maybe he's like an environmentalist or an activist or something. I don't remember totally. And that's what brought me here, just to kind of see, like, this is an 18-minute video. So there's a lot of stuff that I'm sure I missed. So let's just see what he's got on the docket for us today. If you're here for this, like, share, comment, subscribe. Go check out his channel, Fat Files and the Fat Electrician. And let's see what we got popping off today.
The reason so many people have requested this is fairly obvious. Clearly, Arizona is up to something, selling these giant cans of tea for 99 cents, which right out of the gate feels weird, but then it gets even weirder when you realize that they've been selling that same can of tea for the same exact price since 1992. Okay, inflation has gone up 124% since then, meaning that if they just wanted to maintain everything, that can of tea should cost at least $2.24. Okay, bear in mind, we live in a world where as of 2021, the Dollar Tree is now the $1.25 tree, okay? The only other product that is sacred is the Costco $1.50 hot dog.
I can't imagine the ingredients in a Costco $1.50 hot dog. From the ingredients in the bun to the meat. That's crazy.
And to make that even kind of feasible, Costco had to go out and buy 2 hot dog making factories, and they still lose money on it, okay? The only reason Costco's staying in business is because they make so much money on all the other things they sell, they can just afford to take a loss on the hot dog, which makes the
That's crazy. I didn't realize that. So they're like, this is like them giving back to their customer, losing money on the hot dog. Do they lose money on the pizza? Everyone loves the Costco pizza. I'm on this unique journey because of my daughter's health with her arthritis. She can only eat organic food and she can only eat certain foods to keep the, all that stuff in check. The stem cells seem to get rid of it, but it's just better to keep her on this very holistic diet. So we don't eat stuff like that, but I ain't gonna lie, I've had it before.
Arizona tea can, absolutely insane because it's the equivalent of Costco only selling hot dogs. They have to be losing money. It doesn't even seem feasible. They're clearly up to something, and we're going to get into it right after a word from our sponsor. This video is brought to you by Rocket Money, your all-in-one finance app that's going to help you cancel subscriptions, lower your monthly bills, and overall manage your money better. Rocket Money covers pretty much everything. They will let you monitor your credit score. They help you manage your budget by letting you see all of your expenses in one easy location. And then if you want them to, they can actually go in and help negotiate a lower price on some of your bills.
I've actually never heard of that app. That's actually pretty dope. That's a dope concept, especially because I always have issues finding subscriptions. So just to make this quick, Rocket Money is the app. And for the discount that he's offering, rocketmoney.com/fatfiles. You can try it for free. Now, this is a little bit older of a video, so I don't know if this is still going on, but it probably is, because typically I think they last for the life of the video. I'm going to scrimmage through the ad because you could watch it on his channel direct. But I want to make sure to promote the ad because I want him to get paid. Also, link in the description of his video to buy his merchandise. All the T-shirts he wears are his customized T-shirts. And I'm sure, support the original content creator. But that's my form of supporting, is like letting you guys know, see it on the screen, boom, bye. But I don't need to know everything about the Rocket Money app. Just those first couple of seconds, I'm like, that's fire, because organizing your finances and then be able to cancel subscriptions or organize all that different stuff is fire. That's dope.
There's a baby monitor in my office. All right, our story begins with the owner of Arizonatea, John Voltaggio. In the 1970s, he was a truck driver for an alcohol distribution service. Essentially, he was driving a truck around the city and he would deliver all the alcohol to convenience stores and gas stations, and he did that for years. After doing this for years, him and his coworker, John Farolito, decided they're gonna start their own distribution service. However, as I'm sure you can imagine, that's a very tough business to get into, and initially the only clients that they could get were all the convenience stores and gas stations on the sketchy part of town that nobody else wanted to deliver to, but they did it anyways. Then after they had a fairly successful distribution service, they figured, hey, we're already carrying all these different types of beverages to deliver them to all the convenience stores, and we have those relationships. What if we started our own brewery and started making our own alcoholic beverage, and then we could just have one more product to be able to offer all these clients? So they did, and that was fairly successful also. So now that they have their own alcohol, they have to figure out how to market it. And this is where John Voltaggio really figures out how to market a product, and he looks around at all the other successful products in the alcohol market in the 1980s. And let's just call a spade here. The 1980s is the pinnacle of the sleazy advertisement era, okay? I mean, we've got Camels trying to sell children flavored cigarettes, and we've got every alcohol company on the planet desperately trying to convince you that if you drink fucking Bud Light or Coors Light or whatever, a supermodel is going to be attracted to you and your beer gut. So John Voltaggio, learning how to market a product, he's like, okay, step one, make it cool. Step two, have a supermodel with huge cans, promote it. Easy. They then proceed to name their beer Midnight Dragon, which is the coolest fucking name for a beer I've ever heard, and this is in 2020.
See, he goes deep. I never knew this. Like I said, I knew a little going into this, but I didn't know he got into the alcohol business. Midnight Dragon is crazy.
24. If you adjust for inflation, it had to have been way cooler back in the 1980s. I mean, even today, that's a brilliant name. Imagine going over to your buddy's house. He opens up the fridge. Oh, what did you want to drink? We've got Miller Lite and Midnight Dragon. I mean, at that point, you could literally be a Miller Lite guy, and you're still gonna try at least one Midnight Dragon. You have to. So step one, make it cool. Check. Step two, make it sexy, right? Sex sells. I present to you their first ever advertisement, a beer poster of a model in red lingerie holding a 40 of Midnight Dragon with a straw with the caption, "I could suck on this all night." The fact that it's a 40 is just completely outrageous. Like, the notion that anyone in the history of mankind has ever been drinking a 40 while simultaneously also concerned about smearing their lipstick is just completely unhinged. Like, I need a part two of this beer advertisement. I know that straw doesn't reach the bottom of that 40. What happens when the straw doesn't reach anymore? Do you just throw it away and get another 40? Or are you going to be so drunk off the first 20 ounces you're not going to care about your lipstick anymore? I'm sorry, I'm getting sidetracked. Anyway, so this goes on until like 1990, and John Voltaggio, while he's delivering beer one day, there's another distributor there, and he's actually dropping off a bunch of Snapple. And John Voltaggio is just like captivated by it because it's the middle of winter. Why on earth would anybody be drinking iced tea in the middle of winter? It doesn't make any sense to him, but apparently a bunch of people enjoy it, so he's like, that's it. I'm gonna start selling tea. So the first thing Don has to figure out is the proposition, right? Why would anybody drink his tea over Snapple? Snapple's already an established brand. So he starts to thinking on how he's gonna set himself different, how he's gonna set himself apart, how he's gonna be better. Now, I'm just guessing, but I'm assuming at this point he refers back to all of his experience, all of his knowledge, all of the lessons that he's learned from marketing and distributing beer over the past decade. And when you
Hey, I just want to highlight something, because right now I'm listening, and this is just a cool story that I didn't know the depth of where Arizonatea came from. But I do want to highlight this for people. Let's say you're watching this and you're not a business owner, but you're like trying to start up a company or become an entrepreneur or whatever. You know, there's some game being sprinkled in here. There's a bunch of gems, because this goes along with some of my businesses. Like, I own a recording studio, I own a concert promotion company, and my YouTube. And there's a lot of things, like from the marketing ideas that he was saying there, there's some depth to that. And he looked at it like, oh, it needs to be cool, needs to be sexy, da-da-da-da. You can do similar on YouTube and figure out how to get things to pop. Also, you can utilize ChatGPT. Once you understand the rules of YouTube, you can utilize ChatGPT to help. For example, sometimes I'll title a video and I'll just tell, hey, ChatGPT, I'm making a video about this, da-da-da-da. Help me come up with an engaging title, 35 to 55 characters long. And then it'll just spit out 15 examples. Then I'll be able, from my expertise, to see which one is hot. Sometimes I change it, or sometimes it gives me an idea to create a better title. Sometimes I'll use that title. But anyways, there's some gems being sprinkled in from the Fat Electrician about the dude who created this company. So if you're into that type of stuff, make sure you're extra internalizing some of the things being said, because there's a lot of game in this, actually.
You distill all that knowledge down, he knows that you have to make it cool and you have to make it sexy, right? Because sex sells. The problem is, iced tea isn't exactly an adult beverage. There might be a lot of kids drinking this beverage too, and having some model with huge cans marketing it might be a little aggressive for something that children might be drinking, and then it hits him. Huge cans. We'll get rid of the model and just keep the giant cans. Okay, now like the textbook business term for this strategy is called a value proposition. Basically, he's decided that Snapple is 16 ounces and it costs like, I don't know, $1.29, whatever it costs. He's coming in and he's like, cool, I'm gonna sell more. I'm gonna sell 23 ounce cans and I'm gonna sell it for less. I'm gonna sell it for 99 cents. That's the value proposition. You're gonna get more for less. Okay, that's what a textbook's gonna tell you, but I'm dubbing this the big can strategy, right? Because we've seen this time and time again, okay? Think about Monster Energy. Monster Energy was not the first energy drink to ever hit the market. That was Red Bull. Monster Energy just came along and was like, oh hey, Red Bull's only selling these little 8-ounce cans of energy drinks. What if I doubled the size and sold 16-ounce cans and gave it an even cooler logo? Boom, multi-billion-dollar business right out of the gate. And you know the kicker with that, one of the top executives that helped initially launch Monster and market it was a top-level executive at Arizona previously, so he knew exactly what he was doing with the big can strategy. In Don Voltaggio's own words, his marketing strategy is, and I quote, put tea in a big can and paint it pretty. Okay, if you learn nothing else from this video, just remember, people like big cans.
Did you say my name?
No, why?
You said big cans.
Yeah.
Well, that was my nickname in high school.
What?
Yeah, I didn't tell you that story.
No.
Yeah, so it all happened back in 2009. I was a freshman, and so all these boys were just like, all like,
I'm gonna look away, Fat Electrician. I'm looking away. Out of respect for you and my wife. Yo, he's wild.
Sorry, what?
Are you paying attention?
Yeah. No, I heard all of it.
Okay.
Sorry, anyways, we've got the business model. Classic value prop.
This dude is a fucking fool. I like it, man. He actually inspires me. I'm going to be moving into stuff like this. I've actually been so inspired by what he does. I did my first vlog about stem cells on my music reaction channel, but I'm going to continue that style of vlog here, 30 minutes. It could be 15, 30, 45 minutes long, where there's pictures, there's edited videos. Like, I'm going to start finding things that I'm passionate about and telling the story. Actually, I just had an idea. Anyways, I love this dude. Yes, I mark my words. Anyone who watches this reaction, when you start seeing me put together some of my personal stories, like I did the last concert with Old Dirty Bastard from Wu-Tang, literally the day before he passed away. Like, I just have these things, and I'm just going to start putting them together with really cool titles and putting them on this channel. And if any of them take off, I might start another channel totally dedicated to this style of original content, because I've just been, I'm actually getting excited. Let's go. Let me hear the rest of this, though. This is fire.
Proposition, give more for less. Super simple, easy to market, great tried and true business strategy. Next thing, what are we gonna name the company? So Don's thinking on it. He goes back home to his wife and he's looking at his house, and he lives in this like Spanish colonial, or sometimes referred to as Santa Fe style home. And he's like, cool, I'm just gonna call it Santa Fe Tea. When you think of tea, you think of hot, the desert. Santa Fe is perfect. We're gonna slap Santa Fe on the can. He does a couple of designs. The word Santa Fe it doesn't look right. It doesn't fit. So he's like, fuck it, I'm just gonna say Arizona Tea. Don's never even set foot in Arizona. Arizona, but he's like, it's fine. We're just gonna call it Arizona Tea. It'll be good.
Sounds good to me.
Okay, next thing, gotta make the cans cool. Dawn's wife volunteers. She's gonna design all the cans. Perfect. We got everything we need. So now Dawn and John Farolito are gonna go to the bank, get a loan, and start their tea company. The bank hates it. They think it's a horrible, stupid idea, but they reluctantly end up giving the loan anyways for a couple of reasons. One, they're already successful businessmen. They already have a ton of money in collateral. And B, sometimes you just gotta bet on the player and not the game. So the bank, while they were wrong, they ended up making the right decision and loaned them the money to get started. So 1992, Arizona Tea hits the shelves for the first time and pretty much is immediately outrageously successful. And from here, it's pretty much 3 decades of Don Voltaggio being a fucking gangster about absolutely everything. Don wakes up one morning, decides he wants to start selling giant 1-gallon jugs of tea. He starts making the tea, takes it to the distributor. The distributor's like, hey, this is never gonna sell. At which point Don is like, cool, you're never right about anything. Go ahead and put it on the shelf anyways. We'll see what happens. Now it's in like every grocery store in America. He decides he wants to come out with a new flavor of tea, honey and ginseng green tea, and then he has his wife design this beautiful can, at which point he takes a bunch of criticism like, hey, men are never gonna drink that tea because it's a girly colored can, at which point he's like, fine, I'll just sell it to women then. Fast forward a decade later, it's their best-selling flavor and probably one of the most iconic product designs of all time, and it's all because he had his wife's back like a complete badass.
It looks like Japan, and I'm about to train for some samurai shit. I've actually drank that specific flavor of Arizona tea.
He would also get a bunch of shit because he wasn't doing any marketing. Like, he had no marketing department whatsoever, to the point that whenever companies or interviewers or news sources would ask, you know, hey, how big is your marketing department? He would reply, pretty big. About 6'8", in fact, referring to himself because he was the only guy that did any marketing, which honestly wasn't much. They weren't worried about product placements and being a Super Bowl commercial and all this other dumb shit that all the other brands do, because Don knew that he had the value proposition on his side. He knew that he was selling more tea for less and he was putting it inside of a cool can and the product would sell itself, and he was absolutely right. Okay, fast forward to 2008, Arizona Tea is huge. They have their own factory, everything's paid off, they're making a ton of money, they're the #1 ready-to-drink tea brand in the country. At this point, the company is worth over $1 billion, and John Farolito, who over the past decade has become more and more of a quiet partner as Don just kind of took everything over and John just got to, you know, reap the rewards. He comes out and he's like, hey, we could literally sell this company and make billions of dollars and just be retired billionaires that wake up and do whatever the fuck we want all day, every day. We should sell the company. To which Don was like, no, absolutely not. I'm not selling this company because if I sell this company, what are my sons gonna do? Both his sons were his top level executives with him, literally his right and left hand man. And he,
bro, what a story. Having some integrity, having good ideas. It's funny because his sons, like, that's crazy, man. That's wild. What I was gonna say is his sons are like good looking fellas, but they look like football players, at least in this picture. Like that, this dude is just a winner. Holy shit.
He knew that if he sold out, he wasn't going to get to hang out with his sons because every single day, Don Voltaggio has a 2-hour family-style lunch with both of his sons and his wife inside of his big-ass office in his factory. Okay, just so we're all on the same page, Don Voltaggio could have cashed out and been a billionaire with a fucking B and said, nah, I'd rather hang out with my kids. Go fuck yourself. That is the most gangster thing I think I've ever heard in my entire life. Like, imagine how his sons feel about him after that. You know what I mean? Like, imagine going to work with your brother and your dad all day, every day, knowing that the only reason that you're there right now was because your dad got offered to be a billionaire. Like, basically a king or an emperor of capitalism in America, essentially. Like, your dad could have just been like the guy doing whatever he wanted for the rest of his life. But no, he decided he was going to have your back instead, and now you get this awesome job with your family. Like, it's dad goals to a degree that I didn't even know existed. So this obviously leads to a little bit of a falling out between Don and John. John obviously wants to sell. He wants to take his money and run, which kind of understandable. So he's like, you know what? Fine. Don, you keep your half of the company. I'm going to take my half and I'm going to go sell it to some investment firm or something, and I'm going to get my money and I'm going to retire. To which John Voltaggio is like, no, you're not. Absolutely not. You are not about to sell half of my company to some investment firm that's going to want to take it public, and then an army of MBAs is going to march in in here and try to tell me how to run my business that I built from the ground up when none of them have accomplished anything at all. Okay, I'm worried about taking care of my employees and my family and putting a lot of tea in pretty cans, and these MBAs are gonna march in here and they're gonna be worried about one thing, and that's getting a return on their investment, which is a fancy way of saying they're trying to make money for doing fucking nothing. So Don and John go to court and battle it out for the next 8 years. They reach a confidential agreement outside of court. Nobody knows what it was. Nobody knows the terms. Nobody really knows what happened. All we know is that John got paid out $1 billion, and now Don Voltaggio owns 100% of Arizona Tea as a—
How the fuck did he pay him $1 billion? This dude is an absolute savage.
of 2015. So clearly, they just paid out $1 billion. It's been 23 years. They have to raise the price of the tea, right? Absolutely not. Don is 100% against it, and he's going to do anything and everything he can to not raise the price of the 99-cent can. What on earth could his reasoning possibly be? You know, I'm just going to let him tell you.
Why not increase the price and therefore increase the profit?
We're successful. We're debt-free. We own everything. Why have people who are having a hard time paying their rent have to pay more for our drink? Maybe it's my little way to give back.
This dude's just a complete gangster. I don't know what else to tell you. That dude literally has woken up every day for the past 3 decades and just told inflation to go fuck itself. He's literally the only multi-billion-dollar CEO that came out and was like, you know what? I'll just make less money. That is completely unprecedented, okay? Like, I love capitalism. I think it is the greatest system that humans have ever come up with. That being said, it's got a ton of shortcomings, and it would be so much better if everybody acted like that.
Bro, I'm getting goosebumps. This dude is the poster boy for humanity. Because yes, capitalism works and it's awesome, but what F's up capitalism is the greed at the top. The people who win try to rig the system at the top so they just, like, bro, imagine if Big Pharma made a move like this, like Arizonatea. Bro, that is just crazy. Like, it's just so wild. And this is why I don't accept, you know, this, oh, all the billionaires are evil, all the billionaire class, all the millionaires are this, they're taking from us. That's just the poor man mindset, disparity, scarcity mindset, abundance mindset. And there are some good millionaires and billionaires out there, but this is just an incredible story and inspiration for someone like myself who strives to become a millionaire, and then we will see where we go from there, but also give back, right? Like, give back, do the right thing. You know, have a dope family, be there for my daughters. Yeah, this is wild.
Buh! This is all a complete lie because last time I saw one at the gas station, it was over $1. Buh! Yeah, that does happen. That's actually the local store that you're at marking the price up higher than MSRP. Arizona Tea still sells their product below $1 and recommends that they sell it for 99 cents. If other companies raise it more than that, Arizona can't really do anything about it. So yeah, if you're not picking up what I'm putting down, I'm trying to tell you that your local convenience store is scalping tea.
That's great.
It's the world we live in. So other than Don simply being willing to just make less money, buy a smaller yacht, if you will, what else is Arizona Tea doing to cut costs to maintain this price point? Over time, they've done quite a few different things, one of which is they actually changed from selling 23-ounce cans to 22-ounce cans. And the reason they did that wasn't by selling, you know, 1 less ounce of tea is going to save us all this money. They didn't really give a shit about the tea itself. What they did was they went to the can manufacturer and said, hey, we want you to make our cans thinner and use 40% less aluminum so that we save a bunch of money on the raw material end. So they actually ended up making the can a tiny bit smaller and then making it significantly thinner all the way around and having a different top so that they could save a bunch of money on the can itself. In addition to that, they also figured they could save a bunch of money on fuel by not delivering their tea during the day to all the different stores. All their trucks run exclusively at night. Okay, just so we're all on the same page, just so we're all hearing what I'm saying. In order for Arizona Tea to maintain their cheap price point for the rest of us, they're also gonna make us suffer by reducing the amount of traffic. This might be my favorite company on the planet. They need to add that to the marketing, honestly. Big cans, pretty, there's less fucking traffic, okay? It's a trifecta. Okay, do you understand how crazy that is? Like, before, they were just saving you money. But now, in order to keep saving you money, they're also being forced to save you time, okay? It violates the laws of physics somehow. It has to.
Damn, Neil deGrasse Tyson! How are you doing that?
It's physics, Terry. It's physics.
This is my new favorite company. Okay, I don't even drink Arizona tea. I'm starting today. Okay, that's it. That's all I got. I thought for sure Arizona tea was gonna be up to something like every other company I look into, but no, they're not up to anything nefarious. They're not secretly being funded by the government. It's just Don Voltaggio, the owner, woke up every day for 30 years and decided to be a fucking badass. When they told him his 1-gallon jug of tea idea was dumb and it wasn't gonna work, he said, cool, I'm gonna go ahead and sell it anyways, and it worked. He believed in himself. When his wife designed this awesome can and they said nobody's gonna buy it because it's girly, he said, cool, I'm gonna sell it anyways. He believed in his wife and he was a good husband. When it came time to sell out, retire, and be a billionaire, he said, but then I'm not gonna get to hang out with my sons. He had his kids back. He was a good dad. And when the time came to raise prices because everybody else was doing it, he said, nah, I don't need to make more money, I'll just make less. He was a good person. And despite all of that, despite the fact that he did everything wrong and he put money last as the business owner and the guy running the show, he still ended up being a billionaire worth over $6 billion. And more importantly, he gets to have lunch with both of his boys every single day, which is something I don't think any other billionaire can say. And in a lot of ways, that probably makes him the richest man on earth. So in my opinion, that's the key to Arizona Tea's success. Don't chase the money, chase the goal. The money will come after, even if the goal is something as simple as putting a lot of tea in a big can and making it pretty. Thank you for watching. Best way to support the channel is go buy some merch.
Yo, that legalized tax evasion shirt is crazy. I started noticing that while he was talking. I was like, legalize what? Tax evasion? I might actually have to. If he still has that on the site, I'll pick that up.
Over thefatelectrician.com. Quack bang, out.
Bro.
Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm going to go play with some big cans of my own. Anna! What are you doing?
Dude, I'll be on it like that with my wife sometimes. Doing my music reactions. Oh, Lord. That was good, bro. I'm not going to lie. That last riff at the end really was inspiring. And there's something he said that I felt like was meant for me specifically in the place that I'm at. Pursuit of the goal is more important than the money. And I've lost sight of that as of recently. I'm not going to get into where exactly, but, you know, I put God first, my family, you know, under God. But there's something about that end piece that spoke to me personally. I got to work on a couple things. Yeah. Anyways, fire as usual. You guys show him love on the Fat Files. Support, get merch. If y'all want to check out that Rocket app, I think it was called Rocket, whatever. All that's there for you guys. But yeah, man, incredible.
City boy, city boy.